In the beginning, yes, it's going to be hard. Nothing you start is going to be easy. First 10 days, first 30 days, first 6 months will be hard. You're learning everything. I'll say maybe after a year, it gets easier. Good morning, you guys. It is 5 o'clock in the morning, actually 5:22, and I'm sitting here working. Today's going to be an early day for me. Yeah, I thought I would do a video where I code 20 charts per hour, since I get a lot of questions and people asking me like how many patients or charts, charges, whatever, how many do you have to do per hour? Mine is 20. So it's not that difficult for me to get to 20, because really I could have a delivery of a patient and we have to put in charges for her entire hospital stay. So like that's the H&P, which is the her admission to the hospital. That's one note. And then however many times my provider sees her before the delivery. So that could be anywhere from 1 to like 6 visits, and then the actual delivery, and then how many days is she in the hospital after the delivery. So one patient, I could have 10 charges and bust that out in 15 minutes. Or I could have 10 patients in 15 minutes by just doing regular office stuff. So like IUDs, incision and drainage, colposcopies, what else do we do? Excisions of lesions. Yeah, so let's see how many I get done. Well, I know I'm gonna get to 20 because that's what I usually do. But let's just go through this and see how we do. And literally, my kids were just up at 4:30. They just went to sleep. And I had been working. Y'all see? I already pumped and everything. I gotta put these in a bottle. In a second, baby boy is asleep. I love waking up this early because my house is peaceful. It's peace and quiet. But let's get to it. So, let's see. What do I want to start with today? You guys want to do deliveries? Do you guys want to do outpatient? Well, let's do outpatient. Outpatient ones are easy as well. Because for those ones, I usually get an H&P that we're not billing for because it's a scheduled procedure. So that H&P would just be a regular no charge. And then I'll look at my op note. So this patient, she has heavy menstrual bleeding. So it looks like they're going to do hysteroscopy and D&C. So looking at my op note, and I see my pre-op, post-op diagnosis codes. Alrighty. And it looks like we have a resident involved, so I have to remember the GC modifier. And let's just look through this. Now, I get a lot of questions like, how long are these operative notes? Mine? I hope I was recording all that time. I've seen ones that are almost 3, 4, 5 pages long. Mine's, thankfully, are usually only 1 page. So I don't have that much that I have to read. Uterus was sounded, hysteroscope inserted, hysteroscope removed, using forceps, polyps were removed, sharp curettage was performed over the entire cavity, and patient tolerated procedure well. So that is a simple 58558. And I need to look at pathology. And I do not have a diagnosis from pathology, so this one is good to go. Let me get my charger before my phone dies. Oh, but it's not gonna reach. Oh my gosh, a spider. Ah, it jumped. Thank God I killed it. Ooh. Oh my gosh. I need a charger. Now I'm looking around. Yeah, let me get the charger. Okay, so that right there was 2 charges done. Next up, I have another op note. This one is for laparoscopy, bilateral self-injectomy for sterilization. And we're also doing hysteroscopy DNC for Novashore, with Novashore for endometrial ablation. So my diagnosis. Okay, so let's see here. General anesthesia was induced, cervix grasp, bladder then drained, abdomen was approached in umbilical area, various ports placed, laparoscope was placed, examining the pelvis, right fallopian tube. There were significant effusions behind the uterus as well as large uterus that was retroverted. Right fallopian tube was somewhat adherent behind the cul-de-sac. Left tube and ovary appear to be normal. Ports were then placed using 5mm Clepinger. Both fallopian tubes were removed in their entirety. The thick band adhesions cul-de-sac was able to be leased using Laparoscopy. Instruments removed and no chokers were removed. And chokers removed. Okay, incisions were stitched. Tension turned to the vaginal portion. Cervix injected. Hysteroscopy was performed. Showed multiple uterine fibroids. Uterus sounded to 8 centimeters. Ablation was then performed using the Novashore. Ablation cycle was then performed 4 minutes 5 seconds. Okay, endometriosis with the cul-de-sac adhesions, uterine fibroids, both cysts, intramural as well as submucosal. So we have intramural fibroids and submucosal fibroids, endometriosis of the cul-de-sac, and that's good. And we have our encounter for sterilization. My CPT codes is 58661, 58661. I'm billing that twice for both sides, left and right. Modifier 51 will go on both. And then my 58563 for hysteroscopy, endometrial ablation. And that is going to be diagnosis code 2, 3, and 4, 1, and 1. Let me make sure no resident. Look at pathology, complete cross-section, no pathological diagnosis. And for the endometrial curettage, no pathological diagnosis. So that's good. And that's 3 charges. So far in the last 5 minutes, I have 5 charges done. Reviewed operative report. Next up, actually, did I say 51? I meant to say 50. Yeah, on 58661, both charges, I did modifier 50 for bilateral. Okay. Okay, next up we have a patient with postmenopausal bleeding. That's N950. And as you guys can see, when you do medical coding for so long, well, and my diagnosis codes are right here in front of my face, but for the CPT codes, you start to memorize the codes. It's not difficult. There's only one code for hysteroscopy and DNC, so you really don't have to go to your book every single time when you're coding. It gets familiar, and you just zoom through these just like I am. So in the beginning, yes, it's going to be hard. Nothing you start is going to be easy. First 10 days, first 30 days, first 6 months will be hard. You're learning everything. I'll say maybe after a year, it gets easier. And that's just honest. Like, it's not going to be easy in the beginning. Especially if you have not done it and you don't have any experience. It's just a lot to learn. But you have to want to learn in order for you to succeed. Okay, so normal appearing vaginal tissue, uterus anteverted, hysteroscope, included excellent visualization. There is a trophic endometrium. Patient was taken to the operating room, prepped and draped. Speculum was placed. Uterus sounded to 8 centimeters. Dilator, cervix was gradually dilated. Hysteroscope was inserted. Hysteroscope removed. Sharp curettage. All instruments then removed from the patient's cervix. Patient tolerated procedure well. So 5'8", and there is a resident, so I have that GC modifier looking at pathology. There's no diagnosis, so I'm going to go with the post-op diagnosis code for postmenopausal bleeding, and that's 2 charges done because we have an H&P note that I just have to put a no charge in for. So operative report reviewed, and that's 2, so now we are up to 7, and it's only been 10 minutes, give or take, and I still have 50 minutes to go to get to 20. So yeah, it's not that hard to get if you're sitting here and you're focused. So now looks like I have a delivery, and let me see, I do. So this one has a lot of charges here, which I love to see. So that means my provider's seen her multiple times throughout her hospital stay. I'm looking at her insurance. She has UPMC for you. So when did this start? In 2020. So we should have billed global codes throughout her entire prenatal period, which we did. So now I can bill global for her delivery, which would be, let's see here, a vaginal delivery. And this is her 6th pregnancy. I have to make sure she didn't have any C-sections, which she didn't. If she did, then we would be billing a VBAC. So $5,900 for her delivery. And let's just look at these progress notes before she delivered. And I want to make sure. Okay, so one of my midwives forgot to put in a charge for her H&P, so I have to add that on here. And let's look at her H&P. So she's 39 weeks. She's here for scheduled induction of labor, awaiting her first baby boy. Oh, induction of labor with oral cytotech, so I'm not gonna bill for that. If it was vaginal cytotech or they placed like the Foley, we can bill for that, which is the $5,900, as long as it's not the day she delivered. So that one's a no charge. And I didn't get any disease or complication for her primary diagnosis code, so I'm going to use the Z3483. And now let's look at progress notes. That one is not a note. Okay, so far I had 2 charges for 1 provider for this hospital stay, and we were already at 7, right? So that, no, we were at 10, right? I done forgot. Either way, let's just keep going. So they discussed options for placing a balloon insertion. They will reevaluate in 4 hours in case they want to do the balloon. So no diagnosis code there. And that's the second one. All right, 3rd time in. And cytotech vaginally now. And this was placed, so she delivered the next day, so I can go ahead and bill the $5,900. And I still don't have a diagnosis code, so we're just going to keep it with the Z3483. Excuse me. And what else? I'm just correcting my dates of service here. Because she's seen her on 7/1, but the charges dropped for 6/30 because that's when the note started on 6/30, but she didn't actually sign off on it until 7/1, so I had to make sure my dates are correct. So right now, from this note, I got 4 charges. She signed it 3 times for 7/1, but the actual note is dated in the system for 6/30. So I have a no charge in here for 6/30, because if I don't, I'm gonna go to my missing charge report, and then this is gonna be on there because there was no charge dated for 6/30, if that makes sense. We have missing charges for our providers that sign on notes. Whenever they sign a note, there has to be a charge attached to it. So whether that's a charge with a fee or a charge with no fee. And for this one, it was dated for 6/30, but she signed and seen the patient on 7/1. So I have all my notes, or I have all my charges for 7/1, which were 3, but this note was dated for 6/30. So So I had to just put another no charge. So that's 4 right there. All right, next note. See here, looks like one of my midwives is with a resident on this one. And midwives are not teaching physicians. So even if they were in there doing like a cook catheter or placing the balloon, we can't bill for that unless the midwife documented it that she placed it. So they can't bill off of resident documentation. Alrighty, so for that one, my resident, my midwife, my GC modifier, and no charge. And again, they went in twice together. So far for this one patient, I am at my 8th charge. Holy cow. Alrighty, next note is going to be this one here. Another midwife with the resident twice. So let's see here. And let's see what's going on. Evaluate a patient at bedside. Encourage she needed to push. Or no, feeling like she needed to push. Cervix exam, it was difficult to feel. At this time, forebag was accidentally ruptured. On-call attending notified. So still no crazy diagnosis, nothing going on, which is good. Right here we have some category 2, which are decelerations in the baby's heart rate. So that is going to give us 076 diagnosis code. So this one is this, and then this one is that. And now we're about to have a baby. So let's go ahead over to our delivery note, which she's 39 weeks. Let's see here. Eccentric placenta cord insertion and no lacerations. Patient became fully dilated. Baby was then delivered, placed on mother's abdomen, where spontaneous respiration and crying. Cord doubly clamped and cut by father of the baby. 3 vessel cord, fundus firm, bleeding was minimal. Okay, so we had no hemorrhages. This was a regular old delivery, so there were no complications. So I will use 080 for all of my charges. I'll have my Z3A39 for her weeks of gestation, and then Z370 for a single live born. And this is going to be with the 59400. All 3 diagnosis codes are linked. Link my LMP. And I think that's it. Let me see, when did she discharge? On 7/3. And let's get that 7/3. And let's look at the note. Yeah, nothing happened during her postpartum period, so we're good to keep the 080, Z3A39, Z370. And you guys, that was my 12th charge for this, what do you call it? For this delivery hospital stay. So I believe I made my 20th charge within the hour. It is only 5:48. And my kids literally just went to sleep at 4:30 in the morning. So, you know what that means for me? I get peace all day. I don't even care that they stay up that late, because I don't hear any questions while I'm working. And by the time I get off work today, since I should be done around 12:30, they'll probably still be asleep. So, enjoying it. I am. My husband's like, you definitely need to be waking them up at 7, 8 a.m. They should not be up that late. Why? Why wake them up? That's just going to irritate me. Why wake them up? that's when the questions start. No, they're gonna say sleep. Absolutely not. Yeah, guys, look, let me show you. I'm at 22 charges, and it's only 553. It's only 553. Done. Okay, now I have a little itty bitty note to review, which is a circumcision. These ones are easy peasy. I need my Z41.2 diagnosis code, my CPT 54150, and now I'm looking at the documentation. Yep, everything there. So this one, good to go. Next, I have a prenatal visit. This patient is seen in the office. It's an 0502F the provider submitted, but the patient has AmeriHealth Medicaid. They do not want the 0502F, they want an E&M. So let's look at her documentation. 34 weeks and 1 day, routine prenatal. She reports good fetal movement, denies any leakage of fluid or vaginal bleeding. Reviewed signs and symptoms of preterm, what is that? POL. Preterm POL. I've never seen POL. Let me see. Google POL medical abbreviation. Not helping me for pregnancy. What is POL in labor? It says policy development section. What? That's not helping me. Unless they want polyhydramnios, maybe. Okay, maybe that's what that is. So reviewed signs and symptoms of polyhydramnios, rupture of membrane, fetal movement, kick count, discuss signs and symptoms with which to contact the office, patient verbalize understanding, GBS next office visit. It's a boy. So that's a 99212. And 34 weeks. Link all my diagnosis codes. AmeriHealth doesn't get any specific modifiers on their prenatal visits. Let me double check. AmeriHealth, no, they don't. So it's just a simple 212 and we're good to go. All right, now I have a commercial plan. This is her initial preg exam, so this is the first visit. It's so crazy because you have people that are delivering today, and then you have people that are finding out that they're pregnant today, so it's just a constant cycle. So now I have a patient that's 8 weeks, and I don't need that diagnosis code since there's O codes, and 0501F is correct, and she was seen by our looks like the LPN for her teaching. So I'll go ahead and add the 0500F, and they did not put in her LNP or the date of delivery, so I'll add that. She's going to be due February 4th, 2024, and there we go. Okay, that one's good. So that was 2 charges there. So yeah, it's really not that difficult, especially when you are experienced. Okay, do not expect to be doing 20 on your first day. I'm pretty sure your employer will understand. My first day, I think they give you like they gave me like a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day like a probationary period, and where I was posted meeting. So like my first day or my first few days, I think my goal was just to get 2 charges done. That was the goal. And then it picks up as you are going through your training and everything. So don't think as soon as you step in the door out the gate, they want you doing 30 charges your first day. I don't really know. I can't really say that, but I'd hope not. You know, I don't know the employer that you might have, but it shouldn't be, you know, out the gate, you need to get hit 30. But yeah. All right, you guys, it's 6 a.m. As you guys can tell, it's starting to brighten up here. The sun's coming out. That's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye. Let me know if you guys like this type of video, because that only took me an hour. I can give you guys this type of video weekly. We can make it a routine schedule on a Wednesday. Every Wednesday, I'll post one of these videos where I'm busting out 20 charges for you, okay? Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.